I was around in the very beginning, in the late 70s. I used to go over to a guy's house named Ron Echte, jazz guitar player. And I would sit with him and jam and play and we'd pick his brain. You know, it was such a great opportunity. But one afternoon I was at their house and Howard Roberts called. And we were jamming, Ronnie and I, and the phone rings and he goes, yeah, it's Howard Roberts. And you know, we were big fans of Howard Roberts, who was basically the guy who started MI. He called and said, I'm thinking about having a music school in LA based on the clinics that I do all around the US. And I would like you to be one of the teachers, Ron. So let's have lunch tomorrow at Musso and Frank's. We drove up here and we met Howard Roberts at Musso and Frank's for lunch. And you know, he had his dark glasses on and he was a pretty heavy studio guy and an amazing jazz musician. So that's how it all got started. And I'll tell you, one of the big changes that I've seen since the 70s is that Ronnie would tell me, hey man, Pat Martino's coming tomorrow to do a clinic. Why don't you come on up? So I'd come on up, I'd park, I'd sneak in. There was no security. I'd just sneak in, sit in the front row, and ask all the questions. I'd be, so Pat, you know how you have that diminished scale thing you do, the minor thirds? Do you have any other things like that? And he'd give a big long explanation. I go, so Pat, when you're doing these scales here and you're picking, you know, and then the following, you know, 2 weeks later it'd be like John Schofield or Steve Morse or Pat Metheny. And I would always come up, sneak in, sit in the front row, ask all the questions and split. So there was a teacher here, a brilliant guitar player at the time named Don Mock. He taught here. This guy is outrageously great guitar player. And a few years later, I was asked by a company called REH to do an instructional video. And they said, Don Mock is going to be the producer, or director, that was it. So when Don Mock and I met, he goes, you're that guy. I said, what do you mean I'm that guy? And he goes, you're the guy that always sat in the front row at all those clinics for all those years and asked all the questions. And then we say, is he in your class? No. Is he in your class? No. We never knew who the hell you were. You know, and I go, yeah, I just snuck in and said, well, nobody can do that anymore. There's security at every door. So anyway, that was good. It was a good, you know, good education once again. It just goes to show you, if you want to learn, you're going to do what it takes. You're going to do, you know, no matter what. If you got to climb a fence, sneak into someplace, you're going to, this is how you're going to, if you got that passion. I think that if you want to be a hireable musician, whether it's guitar, bass, drums, keyboards, it's all about styles. You really need to learn all the styles. Do not focus on being one style. Because if you do one style, if you are, say, trying to be the next Stevie Ray Vaughan or the next Jason Becker or the next Chet Atkins, whatever the case, you're going to get that big of a wedge of the pie. You know, a little sliver. But if you know how to play a little of Chet Atkins, but you can also play bluegrass, country music, metal, hard rock, you're basically filling in all the pie. I think learning styles is one of the most important things. Don't get caught up in trying to be the next your hero.